Okay, dreamer please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're checking the final guild raid, and that is the one of the Silent Garden, where we will face the Ruler of Silence. For this dragon, I'll be using a melee comp because, you can use a range comp for sure, but then you will have trouble with the lightning dragon, so that's not something that you want to go through. So better to use a range comp for the lightning dragon and a melee comp for this dragon, okay? So the main heroes will include Velda for silence resistance, Rachel for debuffing, Dylan's is your main damage dealer, Serena for the heals. Of course, you can use Karin, and I'll also be demonstrating a Karin run later on. I think the Karin team with the other 3 units is still the best team for this dragon. But just in case you use Karin for another dragon, then you can use Serena here without any issue. For Velda, he is on skill up, okay, so that he has more silence resistance for everyone. Rachel on crit, Dylan's on attack set, and for Serena, she's on skill cooldown. Try your best to give accessories that will maximize Dylan's damage capabilities as well as Rachel's, because they will be the main firepower of this team. Okay, and if you have the debuff cleansing accessory, you can use that on Velda as well. This dragon is definitely not as difficult as the lightning one, okay, and in the beginning he will actually do a side sweep, and then he will cast his Eye of Typhoon, which will kind of lock you inside the area for a very long period of time. So if you have any units that are trapped outside, you really need to try to get them inside, otherwise you will not be doing any damage. But also while traveling through that wind tunnel, you will also be taking damage and suffer from reduced movement speed. Okay, so as much as possible, try to get your units inside from the start. And to be honest, he has kind of the same skills as the other 2 dragons, whereby he has the butterfly wing effect. He also has this 3/4 circle ultimate move that he will charge, okay, and in that case, similar to the Fear Dragon, you have to dodge after he uses that, because he will do an attack into the empty area that he did not target. Then he will also cast this straight line thing, which reminds me heavily of Celios, okay, so just try to run to the side of the entire map, because there's actually a safety zone where there will be no lines touching that part, okay, so that's going to be a great place for you to hide. And after that, usually I will try to lure the dragon back into the main field, because I need some space. And also you want to create the 180 degrees angle between your heroes, so that, you know, if he uses the butterfly skill, your both ends will be safe. But the thing about this dragon is that he likes to target all directions, so it's a little difficult to predict in my opinion. I'm not too sure if there's actually a pattern for this, okay, but I haven't actually memorized the north, south, east, west, or where he's gonna hit. So if you guys know anything, do let me know in the comments, or do let your fellow players know as well. Okay, but currently I think most of the time he likes to target someone at the back whenever he's gonna use this wind tornado attack. Okay, you have to manually move the hero out of range, okay, so that it won't hit other heroes as well. And usually after his entire wind shield zone disappears, he's gonna start casting the lines. So just make sure that you're running in a straight line, so always tilt your camera angle so that you're facing perpendicular to the lines, so you will not end up having parallax error and be slightly off, and then your heroes may die, okay? His tail slap is very deadly though, so that is something that I still haven't got myself to react to. I'm sure there's a way for you to predict whether he's gonna use it, but I think it also matters a lot how your camera is angled, because if your camera is slightly, you know, tilted, you may not see him in full view, and sometimes his behavior just goes unnoticed. But in general, there's really nothing too deadly, I would say, because you can take a good amount of damage still, even with this comp. If your Serena can actually, you know, heal faster, heal more, it will definitely be great for you. Also, I know my Velda isn't really dodging that much, so if you can actually try to avoid his attacks, so that your Velda will not take too much damage. As you can see, I'm always a little laggy whenever he targets my Velda, and you know, my reaction time is it's a bit hard to come around, and my Velda tends to get knocked back, but overall it's still okay. So I'm gonna just swap over to Karin right now, and I think this is so far the highest possible score that I've seen and I've gotten. This is with a maxed out Dylan's and a maxed out Rachel. Of course, thanks to my friend Atro for lending the account again, because without this account I definitely will not be able to do this dragon, since all I have is a Shane. Usually I don't want to go to the back first because I know he'll do this right side attack. So after he uses the right side attack, I will direct my Velda to the right side. Sometimes I may try to gather my heroes, round them up when he's flying because of the butterfly thing. So you want to try to make sure that they are still in the 180-degree formation, okay? Because if your heroes are everywhere, then it's going to be very difficult to manage the damage. As you can see here, they are just at all four corners, which is not the best scenario. Yeah, so after this, make sure to run. This is similar to the Fear Dragon one. And since the Wind Tornado Zone is gone, okay, he's gonna use this. So I would strongly recommend running to this side. Okay, this rock area. Okay, that you'll be completely untouchable by the wind lines. So don't worry about that. Yeah, I took a risky play there, okay, because I was completely out of it. If you can, you know, as far as possible, try to keep close to his legs as well so that you can dodge easier, because I know sometimes because this boss kind of needs you to change directions quite a bit. Okay, so your heroes may just be everywhere and it can be quite chaotic. Now when he does the Wind Tornado, okay, like in this case, make sure you are at a safe place furthest out, and he tends to continue to lock on to that particular hero that he cast the Wind Tornado on for a short while. So make sure you are still controlling that hero, because he will cast a straight line attack and you can actually dodge it if you are still controlling that hero. Otherwise, you know, if you just land your hero somewhere with other heroes, they'll all get hit. Usually after he charges as well, he will do a back tail sweep, so that's also something you want to keep in mind. Don't go too near him after he charges. Yeah, so yeah, this is why I say you should always try to make sure your heroes are on both ends of him, okay, so that you mitigate the most amount of damage. And if your hero is, you know, just, especially Dylan's, he loves to teleport to the back of the dragon, right? And sometimes the dragon may not be facing directly at you, he may be facing at an angle, and if Dylan somehow just teleports to the back, he will be at an angle as well, and he'll get hit by all the side attacks, like in this case. So I think the survivability I had here was pretty good. If you observed a little while back, okay, I was kind of dodging a lot of attacks, and even when he used the Wind Tornado, I was also safe. Yeah, okay, so here, yeah, I just try to get back into formation. As you can see, Dylan's was already on the flanks. Yeah, all my heroes are on the at an angle and not directly behind him, so not very good right there. And if possible, of course, I would love for them to, you know, be rounded up, but yeah, sometimes when you are playing it, you don't really have that much time to react, considering, you know, you need to keep an eye on Velda, you need to keep an eye on his attacks, you need to look at his foot movement, because if you realize whenever he taps his feet twice, he's going to use the butterfly. But whether you can react enough, you know, fast enough for that is another thing. So I got 3.2k points here, which I think is pretty good So I have a very different team that I want to show you guys, just in case, you know, some of you guys may lack certain heroes. You can actually run this team, which is Serena, double healers basically. Ian for damage reduction, and one main damage dealer. In this case, you can use Miss Velvet, but I'm gonna use Dylan since, you know, this account's Dylan is so built out. I might as well use Dylan's. Usually, you will probably only use Dylan's for this raid. For the other raids, you can rely on other heroes. I think Dylan's is still really good for this particular raid until the future DPS's damage dealers come out, okay? But for now, I will stick with Dylan's. If you want to try Miss Velvet, I think that it will be fine as well. But in general, you know, the run is pretty much the same, except that you're gonna have lesser damage output for sure because you are not applying enough debuffs. You only have one damage dealer, so the score for this team is gonna be lower. But you know, if you do have a lack of heroes, this is something you can try out. Other alternatives to Ian, okay, could be Melissa Plus. Melissa Plus also reduces the crit you take. Also cast debuffs on the enemy, I think reduces defense. Okay, so that's pretty helpful if you are relying on a single damage dealer, because then you'll need as much damage as possible. Okay, I was trying to lure the dragon to me, but clearly he didn't want to come and he just used his attack on the spot. And I'm also trying my best to avoid his attacks because even though I have double healers, you know, I'm only relying on one damage dealer. Dylan's, nothing needs to happen to Dylan's, okay? Nothing should happen to him because you're only relying on him for damage. So if he dies, that's it. Your run is gone because you don't have another secondary dealer to land the hits, and yeah, your score is going to be heavily affected.
You will all be conquered! By royal proclamation, you will all be conquered! By royal proclamation, you will all be conquered! By royal proclamation, you will all be conquered!
Yep, so this is the safety place I was talking about. Basically, it is an area that the damage cannot reach unless he directly charges at you, of course. But the lines, they will not be touching those areas, so you can safely just run there to hide. This part was a little panicky, to be honest, because he was targeting Ian out of nowhere, and yeah, I just went back and forth with Velda, Serena, and Ian because he was just trying to aim for all of them. But it's great, no casualties. Okay, I mean I did revive, but yeah, this is kind of the score. It is, I think, pretty decent for a single damage dealer. And I mean your damage dealer has to be really decked out, right, for this to work. So for Masteries, it is strongly offensive and DPS oriented. Okay, level 25 is flipped to the top and your status effect resistances are flipped downwards. For the Divinity of Atro's account, this is what it is. Okay, still in progress, but mainly focus on the red ones, then the green ones, and finally the blue ones. For the potentials of his heroes, for his Velda, it is on 333. For his Rachel, max attack. For his Dylan's, max attack. For his Karin, is kind of at max HP roughly, and also 60%, and also 2/3 on attack and defense. Well, for the second team, which is the Velda, Ian, Serena, and Miss Velvet team. Okay, I didn't use Miss Velvet, but yeah. Miss Velvet is on 2/3, okay, Velda is 333, Ian is only on defense and HP build. For Serena, she is kind of like a little mix everywhere. Even heroes with these potential levels can give you a decent score with a proper DPS build. Okay, so all goes back to the DPS. Make sure you pump your DPS, focus on them in order to do well for guild raid. Okay, so I hope this video helped, and if it did, to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Big shout out to my channel members Tom, Gonzalo, Jeremy, Yamaki, Bilal, Fahas, and Reggie for the support. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much and see you!